What's up, guys? 5-Star Paintball Tech here. We're going to do the second boiler room session. We're going to answer a frequently asked question that I often get, which is, listen, you work on so many Intimidators, you built so many, you've fixed them, you've tuned them, you've done it all when it comes to these Intimidators. Like when it comes down to building your own, what parts are you using? What pressures are you running them at? How do I build the ultimate Intimidator? So for this boiler room session, we're going to, this is going to be a two-parter. The first is going to be walking through my dream Intimidator build, which is the one in front of us today. Part two is going to be testing out a few different Poppets to see which one gives us the best velocity increase and performance. So without further ado, this is my idea of the ideal Intimidator. We're going to keep it to Gen 1 through 3. This is a Ripper 2. You can already notice that it has some parts that probably don't belong on here. The most obvious of which is the trigger frame. So I actually don't like the way that the 2K5 trigger frames feel. They're way too far forward. I feel like the gun isn't as balanced, and it's just not as comfy to hold. With the 2K2 style frame that's on this, it just gives you a little bit more. It has that like LV type of feel, and it's purely for ergonomics. This does have a 2K2 Tadao M5 board inside, which is 10.5 balls per second capable. So it could shoot compliant, or it could shoot like disgustingly fast if I wanted it to. It also has the Tekna dagger trigger on here. Short history lesson on the Tekna triggers is that they were carbon fiber triggers, obviously, made for shooting in semi-auto, because these 2K2s came with, for the most part, semi-only boards, like the Wasp boards. They made them out of carbon fiber because it allowed you to not have to run a trigger spring. So the return is stupid fast with a without the trigger spring, and it runs completely off of the micro switch. The issue that if you might run into if you ran no trigger spring on a aluminum trigger is the extra weight of the trigger might cause some bounce. So the idea with the carbon fiber triggers is that they're super lightweight, return super fast, you're able to shoot super high rates of fire and semi legally for NPPL without having to turn your D-bounce all the way up. So it really just gave you a really responsive shooting gun that just shot really fast. So in my eyes, the dagger trigger one looks insanely cool, really aggressive look, and then when you're actually pulling it, it's just so easy to rip on. In my eyes, this is probably my favorite Tekna trigger made. They came in a bunch of different styles, so this is one of them. The Scythe, which is kind of like the classic S-curve style. Also has a, there's two different variations of like the Dragon style trigger that came stock with these guns. And then there's a version of this without the hump. And I think there was another edition of the Scythe. And then there's the ECX, which is the most rare of them all. These triggers are pretty rare in general. I think if you were to buy one, they'd probably run you in the range of like 150 to 200. So they're a bit pricey, but they feel awesome in the gun. I'm also running Hogue grips on this with the Inception Designs easy on off. I really like the way that this positions the macro line. It just comes straight out the front, connects right there. It feels like the macro line's not even there. And just makes this gun again really comfy to hold. Ergonomics is one of the things I was going with for this gun. And then it's connecting to the Hyper 3 regulator, another part that doesn't really belong on this gun, if you will. Again, this was another ergonomics thing. The Hyper and mainly the rubber is just like super comfy to hold. They're really consistent regs, although I'm not sure that it'll give any performance difference over stock. I've gotten stock to shoot ±1 as well. So yeah, these regs all do the same thing. It's just a matter of comfort on this one. Then kind of leading to the front block area, have it plugged, more of a looks thing. LPR, this is part of where the secret sauce is happening. So hopefully by the end of February 2024, not sure when you're going to be watching this video, just so it's time-stamped. I'm going to be releasing supercharger kits for both Gen 2 and Gen 3 LPRs. For the Gen 3, the full kit, it should be launching at the end of February. Might be waiting a little bit longer for Gen 2. It's going to be a 2-part kit, so it's going to include a new piston, which is going to be made out of Delrin, so it lessens the chances of you scratching the inside bore, which can create basically fitment issues for the O-ring, which then leads to overpressurizing or leaks in the LPR. And then also a more reliable version of the Schrader valve, which also in theory should offer a much higher flow. And then the recharge rate on the regulator, this is hence the supercharged, is just absolutely insane. It makes for really consistent shots, and yeah, it just works really well. So for settings that I'm running with this, and actually before I get into the settings, let me go through the rest of the internals. We're using the stock RAM sleeve, and also the stock RAM, also running the stock bolt. However, another piece of the secret sauce, you'll notice this black tip on it, and that's because I had this bolt modified by Chris Nelson on Facebook. Again, his name is Chris Nelson, super talented machinist and tech. He actually modifies your stock bolts for Bob Long guns to take LV1 soft tips. So I don't use the soft tip because it makes for obviously a softer contact with the ball. That's not what saves you from breaking paint. What does save you from breaking paint is how it kind of creates a flat surface in the middle with the Mercedes logo or peace sign or however it's aligned. Essentially what it does is it prevents rollback in the breech. So what can happen with the stock bolt or any open face bolt is the ball can actually roll back into the face of it, creating a tiny gap so that when the bolt comes forward, it risks, if you don't have a adjustable ram cap, you risk clipping the next ball in the stack, and then that ball would then blow up in the breech on the next shot. So it really helps to prevent that. Creates a nice consistent ball and breech placement on every shot, which actually does contribute to consistency as long as your detents are in good shape. So it's another nice little feature, the marker. It definitely helps with getting the ball placement perfect and just the gun shooting ball on ball accurate. Actually, probably not so much contributing to accuracy, but definitely the ball and breech placement is key for reducing barrel breaks, or breech breaks rather. And then I think I mentioned we're using the stock ram inside. So I really like the stock parts setup. I don't really see any reason to change it. I haven't found really many parts that offer much of a performance difference, although we're going to test out 3 different style poppets in a little bit. Pressures I'm running this thing at, I'm always running the low pressure regulator at 80 psi. Reason for that is these solenoids actually have a optimal working pressure of about 75 to 100 psi. Keeping it on the lower end of that spectrum really helps to keep the shots consistent, and it's part of the reason why all the guns that you see in my videos are really just shooting so consistent. The gun shoots ridiculously smooth, even though that it's a I don't know, to some it might be a higher LPR pressure. The reality is that it's perfect. There's a reason why Bob set these guns to about 80 psi from the factory, and it's just because it works consistently, and these guns shoot ridiculously smooth there. High pressure regulator, I usually just tell my customers to use it to chrono. This one with the stock Poppet is set to about 210 psi to get us about mid 280s in terms of velocity. So yeah, the next video, and then actually going into some of the other parts, love the dye ultralight barrels. There's something about them that just belongs on Intimidators. We're using the lever lock feed neck. This is just a beautifully put together marker, and I think it's just like my ideal setup. It shoots ridiculously smooth. It's stupid fast in uncapped ramping, and it shoots 10.5 if I needed to. It's just a beautiful gun. So in the next video, we're going to walk through the different poppets I'm going to be trying out in this. Then we're going to test them all out, and then we're going to come to a conclusion. So stay tuned. All right, guys. So this is the test that we're going to run today. I have a hunch that the stock Poppet is going to produce a lower velocity than the updated Poppet that Dirty Work sells. If it does, then I'm going to be probably switching over to this Poppet as my main. What's up, guys? So we're going to run a bit of a test today. We have 3 different Poppets, which we're going to throw some paint through. We're going to start with the stock Poppet. And my hunch is that by switching from the stock Poppet to the Dirty Works updated Poppet, the difference between the two is that this has a longer Poppet stem. If we put them kind of side by side together, you can see that that extends a little bit further low. The intent here is that the longer Poppet stem actually produces a longer mechanical dwell, leaving the Poppet open for a while, for longer, and should give us a velocity boost. So first we're going to test that out. The third Poppet that we're seeing here is a special concoction that I put together. This uses the 2K2 Empire style Poppet stem. I think you could buy complete Empire style Poppets on Dirty Works. So I stole the stem from that and then plugged it into a G6R cup seal. The reason why I did that is so that I can also use the G6R Poppet spring. I did this on another customer's gun and it ended up working out really well. I don't know if this is going to produce any just better performance or velocity. What I do know is that this Poppet spring likes a lower dwell time, and the one that it settled in on for my customer's gun was a dwell of 6, just like a G6R. So my hunch is that we might be able to produce a similar shot feel, and then hopefully it's just a really efficient Poppet. So we're going to be testing that out today. First up is going to be the stock Poppet, then we'll try out the longer Dirty Works Poppet, and then we're going to do mine. So more to come, guys. All right, guys, so we got the stock Poppet in here. The pressure read on this is at about 210 psi on the high pressure reg. The low pressure reg is set to about 80 psi. Nice and stock. This is where I like running my Intimidators. And then what we're gonna do is just put a few over here. I think we're shooting in the mid 280s. 280, 283, 289, 296, 281, 282, 272, 285. So it doesn't really go too much over 285. We had a spike or two in the 290s, but I would say it's dialed in the low 280s. Next up is going to be the elongated Dirty Works Poppet, the updated one. All right, so we got Poppet number 2. This is the Dirty Works one with the elongated Poppet stem. We're going to see if this gives us any kind of velocity increase. Check this out. 306, 286, 309, 297, 297, 314. So it definitely gives a velocity boost. Probably going to be keeping this one in unless the G6R one can outperform it. Sweet gun. All right, guys, so this is Poppet number 3. We got the HPR still untouched. Let that zoom in. There we go. Still at 210. Low pressure regulator. Still at 80. So we're going to give this thing a few shots. This is the Poppet with the G6R cup seal. Let's get this thing turned on. So I guess we're gonna try looking for a velocity increase. See if it's providing any. 276, 285, 278, 274, 267. So it's actually doing a lower velocity. Yeah, guys, I think the updated Dirty Works Poppet's the winner here. Thanks for tuning into this, and I'll get you a real shooting video of this thing ripping. Can't wait. Talk soon, guys. All right, what's up, guys? So this is the final configuration. We're using the Dirty Works Poppet inside. I want to give you guys a quick run through on this gun because it's got a lot of parts to it, and man, to me, it's just built to perfection. Firstly, this is a Ripper 2 Intimidator. I personally don't like the 2K5 frames. I think they're a little bit too scrunched up. I think the 2K2 frames were actually a bit ahead of their time. So we threw one of those on here. We're using the LED style. The reason why we're using LED over LCD is because they're not as tall. This one's nice and thin, has about the same profile as the 2K5 frame in terms of height. And then outside of that, we're using the Dagger Techna trigger, has the Empire trigger guard on here. We're also using my special LPR, has some new internals that I'm going to be debuting in hopefully a few weeks. Got the Hyper 3 regulator on here. Surprisingly, we're using stock internals. You might see from my other video though that we're using the Chris Nelson modified soft tip. Takes LV1 soft tips on the stock bolt. And then an adjustable ram cap. It's just a beautifully built gun. Also have the Inception Designs easy on off. But yeah, this is all my favorite picks in terms of parts. Also has the Tadao board inside. It's flash for 10.5. We're gonna shoot it at unlimited. This thing is easily one of my favorite guns that I own. Yeah, thanks for watching this testing vid. Let's see how this thing shoots. Check this out. It's just got such a crisp shot to it. 294, 301, 297, 292, 295. So dialed right in the 290s. Let's go. Oh man, this thing has such a great shot to it. I'm proud of this one.